Hey y'all, I'm back and I'm honestly really excited for today's video. This is just a compilation of crazy ex-boyfriend slash ex-girlfriend stories. I'm like nervous because I'm sure some of these are gonna be so bad, but I'm also so excited. I don't know why. We have to hop into this. People who have run into the crazy ex years later, what were they like? More crazy, we dated on and off. He would ghost me after a few months of dating, then call me a week or two later crying that he had moved out of town or had taken a new job and would apologize for ruining the relationship. I finally refused to take him back after almost 2 years, and he took it as, I need to shower her with attention and not take no for an answer. I ended up changing my phone number and threatening to call the cops a few times when he showed up. I eventually moved out of the state for unrelated reasons. After about 4 or 5 years, I went back home to visit for the holidays. He had seen me on a hometown news special that my family was in and randomly showed up at my parents' house looking like life had chewed him up and spit him out. He begged me to take him back, and after I refused, he tried really hard to get my phone number, and then when I told him to leave or I would call the cops, it somehow translated in his mind to hold me tight and kiss me. I managed to eventually scream and my sister came out with a broom. I love your sister. No, I can't. 4 or 5 years later, and I'm glad life chewed him up and spit him out. He deserves that. Not my ex, but my husband's ex. I ran into her at the store. I had my baby with me. She ran up to us and started cooing at my child, saying he had her eyes and wondering if it was really her baby instead of mine. I gave birth to this child. I don't know what she was thinking. Very weird encounter. I stopped going to that store. How could you question if a woman had a baby? That's insane. No. We dated for a year, and when I broke up with him, he threatened to and wished terrible things would happen to me over the phone and later cyber harassed me for months. After about 4 to 5 months of ignoring slash blocking him and calling the police to do a welfare check after that initial phone call, it stopped. Just over a year after we broke up, I was invited to a mutual friend's birthday. It wasn't until I got there she said that he was coming too, but she didn't know we would both say yes to coming. I said I would be fine unless he got weird about it, and then I would just leave. He saw me and said, "Oh fuck," and walked off to another section of the party. Avoided me for a couple hours, then came up to me really nervously and said hi. He said he wanted to apologize for how he was during the relationship and after. Said he was staying with his grandparents, seeing a psychologist, and had quit drugs and was really looking after himself. Wait. He said he just wanted to take the opportunity to apologize for everything and said it wasn't him trying to get back with me. I was supportive of him and we chatted for a while at the party. Then when I got home, the weight of it kind of crashed on me and I bawled my eyes out. It felt good getting a proper, genuine apology, and I only hope he sticks to it and continues on the right path. Okay, that's really, I'm like so happy for him, and I hope he also stayed on the right path. Sent me a video of her and her new police officer boyfriend shooting at a range, then demanded I give her closure. Then when I just told her what she wanted to hear, she copy and pasted it to her friends, who saw she sent me a video of her and her boyfriend shooting guns, then her demanding things from me. It went over badly and rattled her house of cards. Turns out she was fucking her friend's boyfriend and husband and really fucking the whole social group up as a whole. They gave her the boot, and now, as I'm aware, she has some guy raising kids he thinks are his that are actually her first boyfriends. Wow, okay, you should tell him, maybe? Never mind. I don't know, I'm not gonna give advice. That's crazy. I briefly had a friends with benefits relationship with a girl in college that kept a combat knife under her pillow. The thing looked like a freaking Rambo knife. Things eventually fizzled out with her and we stopped talking. My friends jokingly nicknamed her Stabby, and the name stuck. Everyone went on with their lives. 2 years later, she got expelled because she got into an argument with her boyfriend in a public place and stabbed him in the leg. Wow. Sleeping with a knife under your pillow is like one thing because I feel like as a woman, you gotta like protect yourself. I don't know. But to like go and stab someone, yeah, stabby is appropriate. This one is short, but insane. Like 3 years later, she told me she really missed me. I said we should catch up sometime and gave her my new number. Then got a bunch of texts saying I ruined her life because she called her new boyfriend my name during sex. I blocked her immediately. Oh, that's awful. The crazy ex is my ex's ex. He was a nice enough guy, but he is very ex. I've been married to someone else for about 25 years. I live with my husband in a different part of the US, over 1,000 miles from where my ex and I were a couple. So 1,000 plus miles plus around 30 years. It's 2015. I take my mother to get a hearing aid fitted. I happen to be visiting, she asked me to go with her, then we can get some lunch. What could go wrong? I'm sitting at the counter while the hearing aid person helps my mother, and the admin slash office manager slash whoever she is comes out with some forms, and I say I can get those started. I know her address, date of birth, etc., and the woman exploded. It's a HIPAA violation. Unfortunately, I said, how could it be a HIPAA violation? I would be filling in information I already know. Next thing, I took a clipboard to the head and this woman is screaming how I'm a slut and destroyed her marriage. I've never seen this woman before, not that I would have to see her to sleep with her husband, and I'm actually babbling. I don't even live there. I live 1,000 miles away. Mall security gets involved, I know, and asks for both sides of the story, and she begins calling me by a nickname that I don't even use anymore. It's from a sport I played when I was in college, and the last name I had before I got married, so a name I have not used since the early 1990s. She turns to my mother and says she knows she's not my mother because her last name is not my old last name. My mother has been married to my stepfather since before I married my husband. We haven't had the same last name since I was in college. All of this while screaming that I'm a whore, my mom's a mother of a whore. We really thought she was completely insane or having a psychotic break or something. Nope, turns out she was married to my ex for many years. They got divorced and she recognized me from when she stalked him while we were still dating. And when I sat at the counter, it was clear I was doing it to taunt her. I have no idea how he's doing. He has zero social media, can't imagine why, and it's possible he never even knew this happened. Yeah, she got fired. Yes, I filed a police report. I have no idea if anything legal happened to her other than getting trespassed from the mall. My mother got her hearing aid free or reduced. I do not have a scar from the clipboard. The clipboard, I kind of brushed over that really quickly. You got hit in the head with a clipboard? That, oh my God, and like calling your mom the mother of a whore. There's so many aspects to this. I just can't. Had dinner with an ex about 10 years after we broke up. She wasn't crazy before or after we broke up, but turns out her now ex-best friend / roommate was. Apparently after the breakup, her then best friend pretended that she was now dating me. The roommate would ask if my ex was okay that we were dating and ask my ex if she could sleep somewhere else so we didn't keep her up and whatnot. I was floored when I found out. I never even saw the best friend after we broke up. Being like, can you leave so we can like fuck in the house? And you're not even, oh my God. She approached me in a pub 5 years after I broke it off with her while I was sitting with all my friends. She loudly announced, despite not being asked about it, that after I broke it off with her, she found out she was pregnant. Instead of approaching me with this information at the time, she had the fetus aborted. I'd already been snit before we began dating. I never told her this, so I knew she was spouting bullshit and that she was just trying to hurt me somehow. Wow, holy shit, my air is turning on. I'll be right back. I was walking down the street and she slowed down to offer me a ride. I accepted because her hair was a different color and she was wearing big sunglasses, so I mistook her for a friend. Once I got into the passenger seat, I saw the toddler in the car seat behind me, not mine, who proceeded to ask, "Mommy, where's his girlfriend?" She then drove me to my girlfriend, now wife's, house. I didn't have to give her directions despite the two of them never meeting. It was frightening. She's stalking the shit out of you, but the fact that the child even knows that this bitch is stalking you, that's... Oh my God, I can't. We had to go to a mutual event in another country as we share a mutual friend. He gave me a letter writing how much he wanted me back and that he was in the wrong for treating me awfully and cheating on me, while he had a girlfriend going through a kidney transplant. He drove past my house in a different city a few times for good measure. Having a very distinctive and loud car doesn't help any weird stalking attempts go unnoticed. The girlfriend getting a kidney transplant while he's begging for you back, oh my God. I wouldn't call it running into when you're at court getting a restraining order over 3 years after the breakup of a relationship that barely lasted over 6 months. He behaved himself, tried to explain himself, and the judge interrupted him and didn't let him say anything else. The screenshots I submitted spoke for themselves. Haven't heard from him since, but his mom did get a restraining order against him since. Maryland Judiciary case search can show some interesting findings. Wow, even his mom. Okay. I bumped into a guy I dated super briefly. It started off great, but then he got violent with me and I had to get the police involved. He left before they arrived. Turned out he had given a fake last name, so I couldn't press charges. Ran into him at a party a few months after and he apologized. Explained to me that he had been on a months-long drug bender, amphetamines mostly, and that what he did to me was basically his rock bottom and his behavior shocked him so much he got himself into treatment. I thanked him for the apology but told him how traumatic that ordeal was for me and told him to never speak to me again. He was understanding, apologized again, walked away, and that was that. I feel like that's exactly how you should have handled it. I feel like regardless of the help that you're supposed to, or the help that you're supposedly getting, whatever, you traumatized me. So fuck you. But also I'm glad that he's getting treatment. It's unfortunate that that was the rock bottom, but I don't know. I didn't run into them, but she tracked me down and contacted me. I was 19 and in college when we broke up, and I broke it off with Jennifer, not her real name, because I felt like the relationship wasn't really very equal, and I was constantly apologizing for just about everything I said or did and was trying to be someone that I wasn't just for her. I met another girl shortly after, and this girl happened to live in the same dorm as my ex. My ex scoured the dorm after our sign-in sheet and reported me to the campus police as cohabiting in my new girlfriend's dorm room, which constituted fraud. I got a warning, stayed out of the dorm, got an apartment, and me and the new girlfriend cohabited at that one. We cohabited, is it habitate? I don't know what that fucking word is. A lot. We cohabited sometimes 2-3 times a day. Oh, ahem. Anyway, she transferred out to another school the next semester, never heard from my ex again. I knew she got married to the guy she dated who had been pining for her while Jennifer and I were dating, so I at least figured she landed safely until 20 years later I get an email. She had tracked me down from my live journal, that was a while ago. She told me how she hasn't been happy since we broke up. She missed me and missed my anatomy. She wanted me to tell her in graphic detail what we did together because she said she couldn't remember it. I said I'd rather not go into that, and I'm glad What the hell was that? That was on the roof. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. That was really scary. I don't know what's happening. I said I'd rather not go into that, and I'm glad she was doing better with her 2 kids going into high school soon. She said she was not living with her husband anymore because he walked in on her fucking another guy, and it was all because she was craving what we had all those years ago. I said we really didn't do much and we weren't for each other. Then she started sending nudes and asked me to gratify myself while looking at them. I said as gently as I could that she's a lovely woman, but I'm going to delete the photos, and that I'd already told my wife that she has been writing to me. After she wrote back again telling me that she would happily take me from my wife, I said I was going to have to break off contact and not reply anymore. She replied, I never read it, and that was it. Until a few years later, she tried to catfish me with a fake identity, but her fake identity was associated to her real one, so a quick Facebook search told me who I was dealing with. I talked to her now ex-husband and told him. He said she was batshit crazy but not dangerous, so I blocked her and I haven't heard from her since. What the fuck? Also, I'm still like, my heart's like racing. I don't know what just happened up there, but I'm scared. Like sounded like something shattered on the roof. The sad thing is that she's not even an ex. We never dated. She had a boyfriend and I wasn't down for cheating. Flash forward 5 years and her friend becomes my boss. Next thing I know, I'm fired. I confront her about it and she fakes it. That's 5 years later too. Holy shit, she can hold a grudge. There are, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of stories in here, and I just have to stop at some point, so this is the stopping point. I definitely want to read more of these because they're like insane, but not like scary insane, but also maybe there are some like scary ones in here. I don't know, we have to find them. But that's all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any crazy ex stories that you want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. I'm just glad, like, I've had exes like reach out to me after the breakup and whatever, like, want to get back together, blah, 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 but I've never had anyone be like actually insane. I've had people be like annoying and weird and whatever, but not like actually insane, and thank God. I can't deal with that. I deal with crazy people enough as it is, and I deal with a lot of crazy people in stories, but whatever. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.